Northern California rivers swollen with record amounts of rain.
If you look back in history, about every 10 years there would be a significant flow in Yuba County.
Many of the most devastating floods on record have happened here in Yuba County, in an area impacted by 3 rivers. Reducing this ever-present risk is why the Yuba Water Agency was created in 1959.
So the Water Agency really has been dedicated since its inception in improving flood protection in the county.
This is the story of how an area once among the highest risk for flooding is now one of the best protected in the state.
We could probably start all the way back in the beginning.
During the gold rush, mining debris flowed into riverbeds, which rose so significantly they ended up higher than the city of Marysville. Farmers built the first levees in the 1800s.
And they were adequate for protecting the farms, but not so much for the urban communities.
After the mining debris filled in the rivers, it was a constant fight to be able to keep the water out of Marysville.
The levees were largely mined out of the channel itself or from whatever was available at the time. In this region, there are silts and sands that are very permeable. And so what happens when we have water against them for an extended period of time, they become saturated and they start to melt away, just like if you're heating up a cube of butter.
The 1955 flood devastated nearby Yuba City in Sutter County. 41 people lost their lives. Something had to be done.
The state was working on Orville Dam, and then on the American River, the feds were doing the same thing with Folsom Dam, and nothing was being done on the Yuba River.
County leaders took it upon themselves, voting for bonds to build New Bullard's Bar, Yuba Water's centerpiece for reducing flood risk. However, a planned Marysville Dam was never built, leaving the area without significant flood control it desperately needed. In 1986, a levee break in Linda flooded homes and businesses and devastated the Peachtree Mall. It has never recovered. 1997's massive flood claimed 3 lives and caused more than $300 million in damage.
Having the 1986 flood and the 1997 flood, 11 years apart, that was devastating to the county.
In the wake of 97, Yuba Water is leading the charge, working with local, state, and federal partners to significantly reduce flood risk. Building setback levees on the Bear and Feather Rivers helped bring South Yuba County into 100-year flood protection. Yuba Water is helping to fund improvements to strengthen the Marysville Ring Levee around the city of Marysville. Upgrades in the Goldfields area are the final link to bring South Yuba County into 200-year flood protection.
It's a flood that you would expect on average to see once every 200 years. To put it in perspective, the 1997 flood is the flood of record, and that was approximately a 100-year flood event. So we're designing to a flood event we've never seen.
All told, more than $600 million of investment and nearly 50 miles of levee improvements have reduced risk, helped spur economic development, and greatly reduced flood insurance premiums for the urban areas, which we still recommend keeping. After all, Mother Nature remains unpredictable.
This has been a 50-plus year effort to get to where we are today, and we have more to go.
In the years to come, climate change will likely mean warmer storms and more river runoff. Yuba Water plans to build a secondary spillway at New Bullard's Bar, improving water release capacity, along with a new state partnership to use forecasting data to proactively manage reservoir flows during heavy storms.
Its design is to roughly double the level of flood protection that we would have along the Yuba River.
Today, Yuba County is on track to become the first urban area to meet the state's mandate for 200-year levee protection. Our ultimate goal is 500-year protection for the urban areas in Yuba County, in an area where flooding was once all too common.
We are light years ahead of where we were before the agency was created.
We've significantly improved the levees themselves and reduced the risk of flooding to the community.
We're finally at that tipping point where we're able to move on to the next chapter in Yuba County, which I think will be a bright future.